Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. All praises to Allah. We send peace and salutations upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. What's happening in Gaza, what's happening in Palestine, still the focus, and all of us, we have to do our efforts, all what is in our capacity, as I was speaking earlier about why victory sometimes is delayed and the wisdoms behind that. And now over 16,000, subhanAllah, they got the martyrdom. They are winners. They got the victory already, subhanAllah. Now it's our victory. How are we going to support? How are we going to help? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing us. And joining me here in the studio, our dear brother Abdul Aleem Hamza, the regional director of Islamic Relief. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Abdul Aleem.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh to yourself, Sheikh, as well as the viewers of Hilaal TV.
Welcome back. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala welcome us all in Jannah.
Ameen,
Allahumma
ameen, ameen, ya Rabb.
Give us some updates, what's happening in Palestine, the teams on the ground. I know you have teams there on the ground, mashallah, supporting for a long time. Tell us about that and tell us about the situation and the needs.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All praise and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 61 days,
61 days, yeah.
Since it started. It's 2 months, just over 2 months, going into month 3. And I think we need to realize that when we look back at 2020, let's look at COVID, let's look at lockdown, let's look at how our lives changed over that period of time. Let's look at how much dua we made, just for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove this pandemic from us. And because maybe something is not directly affecting us, we must not be desensitized.
Sorry.
When we've seen 16,000 people having been killed in Gaza over this period of time, and it was just a few weeks ago when we spoke about the impact on women and children, and the percentage was between 55 and 60%. The percentage has now increased to 70% of women and children. And here in South Africa, we're going through a period that's coming up where we speak about, violence against women and children. And then there's this protest. This is violence against women and children.
Mm-hmm.
We must highlight this as our children that's suffering, it's our mothers, it's our sisters that is facing this harsh reality. We speak even at the start, before the start of the escalation, the population of Gaza is 2.4 million people. So let's say 100,000 people injured, killed, or unaccounted for at this point in time. That leaves 2.3 million people, of which 1.8 million people is internally displaced. Only 500,000 or 500,000 people have their own homes for this period of time, but they are obviously assisting their brothers and sisters. So I want us just to visualize this, to picture this, because these are the challenges that we are facing.
Mm-hmm.
You speak about the test, and mashallah, our children, we're now at the end of our scholastic academic year, and many of the children would get their reports. Many of the children would get some sort of recognition for their achievement. And they would pass, mashallah. We hope that each and every one of them achieve the results that they've set out, and Allah reward them for their efforts. But when you look at those tests, and he spoke about the tests of the people in Gaza, they are passing this with flying colors.
Sorry.
Because again, I remind, and I've spoken about this before, is that when we speak to our staff and our brothers and on the ground, how are you? The first word that comes out of their mouth is Alhamdulillah.
Subhanallah.
Hasbuna wa ni'ma wa wakil. Allah subhanahu is sufficient for us. That's all that they're telling us, and they are showing us the courage of perseverance. They're showing us the courage of sabr, the courage of gratitude, the courage of really showing us that, we can sacrifice. And now the question arises, when we look at ourselves, what are we prepared to sacrifice? We're going into a season here in South Africa, it's normally known as a silly season. In December, people start losing their minds. They forget many things in life over this period of time. But I'm asking every single viewer, brother and sister that's watching, let us be cognizant of the suffering of our brothers and sisters in Palestine at this point in time. Let us take a step back and say, perhaps instead of spending 10 Rand on an item that we maybe did not need, let's take that 10 Rand or 5 Rand of that and spend it towards the relief efforts of what happens on the ground in Palestine. You spoke about the work of Islamic Relief, and mashallah, we've been on the ground since 1997. It's only through the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our team has been working there, and our staff has been working there, alhamdulillah, and every single day, they are trying to assist and save lives of those who have been affected. by whichever way it is possible. And you know, every day, mashallah, but late at night, we get an update from our team in Gaza, from our brothers and sisters in Gaza. And I want to say that, you know, we're looking at the people of Gaza, and those are our heroes. And those are the real true heroes, because they are standing up. But when I look at Islamic relief workers and anybody in the humanitarian sector, they are not only saving the people around them, they are doing it selflessly in terms of saving humanity, in terms of saving a life. So that those are the true, those are also heroes, because they're putting the saving of the community before the families and themselves, subhanAllah. These are the sacrifices that they are making. So when we're looking at the work that we've done, I'm just going through some of the stats. We've provided 2.3 million items of medical supplies. We provided over 65,000 hot meals. Food packs we've provided, 793 ready-to-eat meals, for an example. So every single day we see that stat changing of the work that's been done, but it's not not the ability to be able to do it every single day because of the situation. So whatever even if they're giving out water, mashallah, they are able to do that, but there's also limitations to what they can do. And the limitations, obviously, in terms of the supplies, there's a growing, increasing need, for humanitarian assistance in terms of food. Again, before we go to this escalation now, as of the 7th of October, about 40% of the people in Gaza was in need of humanitarian aid. Now, I gave the statistic of 1.8 million people being internally displaced. So that percentage has gone over 80%.
Allah.
Subhanallah. Can we sit here in South Africa and sit back and say, it's not affecting me right now, it's the holiday season, I'm tired. And when we think about that, people are tired, we are tired. How are the people in Gaza feeling? They're running from pillar to post, trying to save themselves. I was talking the other day, and we're talking about Jumu'ah. We sit in a masjid, and mashallah, there's no air conditioner in the masjid, and we complain and say, surely this masjid committee should put in an air conditioner, so we can feel a little bit cool inside. But before we make that comment, going forward, let's think about the brothers and sisters in Gaza. They're making salah on clay, they're making salah on concrete, outside, and they're not even aware or if a bomb is going to come down upon them. But they are grateful, and they show their gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how are we going to be showing our gratitude here in South Africa? We need to dig into our pockets, because I want to remind every single person that the money that we have is not our money. The money that we have has been entrusted to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is incumbent of us to spend that money wisely, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whilst we may believe the people in Gaza are being tested, yes, they are being tested, and you know what, they are passing the test, we are also being tested. And how are we going to be responding to this test? What are we going to be doing? Are we going to be sitting back and saying, you know what, that community is doing nothing, that country is not doing anything, why must I give? That should not be our reaction. Our reaction should be, irrespective of whether my neighbor is giving money, whether my community is giving money, whether another country is giving money, but me, I'm going to give, because I understand the need. I understand this ummah as being one. I understand the fact that I'm connected to these brothers and sisters in Gaza, because they are my brothers and sisters. And this is not a case of only, speaking about Muslims and so forth. This is a case of humanity. This is a case of saving a life because of the situation that they find themselves in. So we, sitting in South Africa, again, we're going to be going out for lunches, we're going to be going out for dinners. Those are all our plans. And when we're sitting around the table with our families, let's think about it. Can we spend 100 rand per person, 200 rand per person, 500 rand per person, 1,000 rand per person? What is within our means that we can spend to make sure that we are covering, and maybe even kind of soothing our conscience by doing something? But we must also remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in charge of what comes our way in terms of the reward. Abdul Aleem sitting here, I'm not in charge of dispensing of that. Sheikh is not in charge of dispensing that. Islamic Relief is not in charge of dispensing that. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we give, let's make sure our intentions are pure and clean. So we say, this 1,000 rand I'm giving towards Islamic Relief so that they can aid the brothers and sisters in Gaza, so they can continue with the work that they are doing, so they can continue helping and saving lives. Because the reality is that that child, that mother and that father will testify for us on the day of Qiyamah when we stand in the courts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will testify that we, here in South Africa, here in the Western Cape, here in Gauteng, in KZN, we have made a sacrifice and we have helped to save their lives. So we're sitting with a gilt-edged opportunity. Every time we talk about this, when it came through COVID, we said great opportunity for great investment. We saw the earthquake in Turkey and Syria early in the year, great opportunity for investment. The investment is in the Akhirah. Once again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling upon you and me to see how we are going to respond. And we have this opportunity. Don't let it go by and say, we've never heard the call, we've never heard the appeal, we've never heard somebody ask us or talk to us about Gaza. You know, the strange thing and the nice thing about this community is, when you go and speak to kids at kindergarten, which is 5 and 6 years old, maybe 4, and you ask them, do you know about Gaza? They readily want to reply and they raise their hands and they say, I've heard about Gaza. And I would ask them, what is the situation of your little brothers and sisters in Gaza? Though they would say to me, they are crying for their parents, they are hungry, they need something to eat, they need something to drink, they are sick, they are in hospital. This is the understanding of our 5 and 4 and 6 year olds, and they understand that when they get pocket money or they have a 5 rand or a 2 rand, they're going to be giving it to Gaza. So us as adults, we have this opportunity, so let us not pass us by. Let the children not lead us. They show us the way of how we need to do things, but in turn, we need to show that we also care. We are also part of this ummah. So great opportunity, and inshallah, Sheikh, we're looking forward to people participating and making contribution to the work that's being done.
I'm impressed with what you're saying, subhanallah. And it just reminded me that it's a test of every single person of us. It's a test to the people of Gaza, but it's a test to us. And sometimes people say, or they think like that, they say, you see, I gave once, I gave last month, I gave when it started. But this is something that needs to be ongoing until we enter Al-Aqsa. Actually, until we meet Allah Azza wa Jal. Because the battle between Haqq and Batil is ongoing, ya ikhwa, ila qiyam as-sa'a. It's ongoing until Judgment Day. Right from the beginning of time, from Sayyidina Adam time until Judgment Day. So it's something that's ongoing. I don't think the situation is going to finish when we achieve victory and we enter Al-Aqsa Masjid. No, it's not like that. It's ongoing. And so this deen was established on the da'wah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also the spending and the charities of the mu'mineen, of the sabiqeen, of Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Sayyidina Uthman, Sayyidina Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, those companions who gave and spent and were giving and spending until the last day in their life. So don't say, okay, that's the end, I gave once and that's it. On a regular basis, the batil is collecting on a regular basis. The people of the batil, they are collecting on a regular basis, and they have debit orders on a regular basis, and they supporting Israel on a regular basis. They supporting on a regular basis. How can the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, over 2 billion, they are saying, no, I give once and that's it? No, it's something that should be ongoing. It is not your job to maybe to say, okay, where is the results of this? Where is the result of that? When Allah Azza wa Jal ordained for the victory to come, it will come. But we just give and we just do whatever in our capacity, because it is our test. It is so on a personal level. On a personal level, every single one of us should act and react. And I believe Abdul Aleem himself, on a personal level, is doing so much. Right? Abdul Aleem, tell me about, I believe you have some kind of event on a personal level. Maybe you can disclose it to our audience, inshallah.
Inshallah. I just want to latch on to one thing that you've said. And people have debit orders for life policies. I want you to say, or death policies, should I say, because when you die...
Or for Netflix, or for these debit orders for things that is haram.
But when you die, that money that you put into the policy doesn't come to you because you've gone. And that money doesn't stand in good state for you because you're gone, and your dependents, they will be fighting about that money. Here's an opportunity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you, an opportunity of a policy, and as Sheikh has mentioned, put a debit order in place. Not say I've given once, I don't have to give again. It's about a continuous giving, because we also as insan, we err. And part of what charity does is remove the sins that we have committed and alleviates that. I'm talking about the minor sins, subhanAllah. So here's an opportunity for us to do that. And Sheikh has mentioned about I'm doing a run, and I've started this run on the 1st of November. It's not about Abdul Aleem, please. I want to say this.
It's for the sake of Allah.
It's for the sake of Allah. And the run will encapsulate 750 kilometers. So by the end of December, the 31st of December, inshallah ta'ala, I'll be completing it. I am on track.
He's running with the flags, I must say. He's running with the flags and Palestine and a shirt with the... So it's like an awareness. He's raising awareness.
and mashallah, you know, speak about the awareness, and off air we were talking, and you know, I think people realize whether you are Muslim, whether you are non-Muslim, the cause of Palestine and Gaza is not a religious one, it's a humanitarian one. And I think we must also be very cognizant of that. So I'm running 750 kilometers, and the idea is to raise 1,000 rand per kilometer. Sure. So I'm asking the brothers and the sisters, whoever is watching, you know, make a contribution to this particular run. As I said, I'm just under 500 kilometers thus far. I'm on track, and inshallah, it's less than 300 kilometers to go. And firstly, I ask you to make dua for me that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants me the strength to complete this journey. I decided to sacrifice something that I love. I love running. I enjoy being in the outdoors. And I thought, what better way to give back to my brothers and sisters in Gaza by embarking on something like this. Islamic Relief, obviously the organization that I work for, they, you know, when we spoke about it, it's a collective effort. The team has put together so much. I run with the Islamic Relief, not Islamic, with a Palestinian flag. I run with a t-shirt that will show you. So if you are, you know, I'm predominantly running in Cape Town. And if you are in Cape Town and you see me on the road, I think the idea is just to acknowledge that's number one. But more importantly, is to keep the awareness alive. So the run in December is because also I realize that people lose sight of what's happening because it now becomes about me and what my family and my holiday. So here it is an opportunity for us to keep that awareness alive. We see the Palestinian flag, we talk about it. It's not, for me, it's not about the money. It's about keeping this conversation alive and talking about the children of Gaza, talking about the mothers and the fathers and all our brothers in Gaza that we need to have this consideration for, and then to think about how am I going to be making that contribution. So 1,000 rand per kilometer. So basically, in simple terms, is 750 people giving 1,000 rand. That's bottom line where we are, right? I'm just raised over 400,000 rand so far, mashallah. So alhamdulillah, I'm very grateful to everybody who's made contributions to get us to this point, but we still have a little way to go. So we're looking for another about 350 people to give 1,000 rand each, inshallah, or families, or you know, there's running clubs and there's cycling clubs. So you come together and say, maybe there's 5 of you, each one of us gives 2,000 rand.
And they can join you as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so if you go onto our social media pages, you'll be able to see where my runs will be over the next, for the balance of the month.
That's a good point in case we want to salute you on the road or run with you.
Yeah, or you want to run, even you want to run 500 meters with me, bismillah. Just after this, later on this morning, I'll be going to a school in Claremont in Western Cape. It's called Vivid. And I'll be running with the kids. And completing a milestone. So the idea is to get as many people involved in this, just to keep this awareness alive. We must not let the conversations pass us by. We must not let the opportunities pass us by. Opportunity knocks and knocks, but there will be a time when the opportunity will not be there, and that's when we close our eyes, and then we will not have anything to be able to give. And we hope that our children and those heirs of ours will be giving, whilst we can be giving in our lifetime, and that can benefit us, then we in control of, inshallah. So I'm asking everybody to make this contribution. And Sheikh, if you want to run with me as well, bismillah.
Inshallah. I was a runner before.
No, bismillah.
I should take part in marathons.
Mashallah.
I can take part with you, inshallah. Sometime.
So we're looking forward to people participating on the various runs that I'll be doing around the Western Cape. And inshallah, if there's people coming down from Johannesburg, we know there's holiday makers, people coming on a vacation, they're more than welcome to join as well. You know, people from Gauteng coming down, people from Durban, wherever you are, and you're coming down.
It starts what time? What time you start running?
It varies. It depends. Like tomorrow morning, I'll start at 6:30. I start a little bit later. I normally start a lot earlier than that.
In the morning?
In the morning.
Okay.
I try and do the runs because it's quite hot in the afternoon.
Yeah, true.
And then I'll be doing, tomorrow morning the run is out in the Athlone area. The day thereafter on.
So you're supposed to be running by now?
I've done my morning run. I've done my morning.
So because I want to join you. How can I join you then at 6:30 is the program?
No, but you tell me, Aleem, I want to run with you. Then I delay the time of my start of the run.
I want to join.
No, inshallah. You tell me which day.
How else can people support the efforts of Islamic Reliefs concerning Gaza?
Well, you can go onto our website, which is www.islamic-relief.org.za. You go onto our emergency page, you go onto our Gaza appeal, and you make your contributions there. Alternatively, give us a call on 0800 111 898. And then, speak to our various officers. If you're unable, and I know there are maybe sometimes elderly people who are not well, and you're unable to come to our offices, give us a call, and we will get one of our fundraisers to come and visit you at your home, inshallah ta'ala. But whatever it is, find excuses to give rather than excuses not to give. I believe that's important, and inshallah ta'ala, us at Islamic Relief, we undertake the amana that we've embarked upon, and that is to fulfill your request to make sure that our brothers and sisters get the necessary aid in Gaza and Palestine, inshallah.
MashaAllah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept.
Ameen.
So for these events, if people want to join or to take part in any of those events, they can just go to the website, or there is a number to contact.
They can contact, like I said, the toll-free number. Give us a call on the toll-free number. If they are, like, for example, like runners right now that want to run alongside me, to run alongside them rather, because I don't think they're running with me. And I think they can just reach out to the office and just let us know, and we'll make a plan around it. I try not to run midday. Midday is too hot.
True.
So if you want me to run midday, I'm not going to do that. But early in the morning and maybe like after Asr, maybe 6 o'clock in the evening, I could do runs.
That's good. I think 6 o'clock is very suitable for so many people as well.
Yeah.
So we might have a huge nation behind you.
No, inshallah. We're hoping to run in District 6 in the Boerkaap area, Mitchell's Plain as well. So there's quite a few areas that we're going to be running, inshallah.
I'm just reaffirming on this point of the debit orders.
Yeah.
We want something regular from our audience. خير الصدقة أدومها وإن قلت. The best of good actions generally, and sadaqah specifically, that if you constantly doing that. So I want from you some encouraging words concerning that, inshallah.
Inshallah, I always believe that, and we're going into a new Gregorian year, for example. People are making plans for the new year. People are putting their budgets aside. And perhaps what you should need to be doing is saying, look here, within my budget, I have 100, I have 200 Rand. And I want to remind, especially, I know this practice was prevalent in the Western Cape. I go back to many years ago, maybe 30, 40 years ago, when the people were talking about when they received their salaries, the first monies that they took out of what they had pay packets where the cash was in, they would give that to the masjid.
Allahu Akbar.
So let us get back into that practice.
It's a practice.
That's the practice. So you now have this debit order that you sign, or stop order that you sign, and when your salary comes in, the first money that goes out of it is not for the insurance, but it is for your insurance in the akhirah. Subhanallah.
Allah.
So that money goes off, and there'll be more barakah. You know what? I say this out of personal experience. When you give charity, there is more barakah in your money. I tell you, I'm not kidding you. This is a reality. So make that contribution, put your debit orders in place, and sign that. And it will only count on your scale of goodies.
Allah will increase.
Absolutely.
Allah will increase.
And you before you know it, you'll forget about the monies that you're giving to Islamic as a debit order, because it will just come off naturally, and you'll be able to continue with what you are doing. But you need to sit down and work that out and make a plan. And as families, I always believe that we want to get families together, especially now over this December period. We're going to have a braai, we're going to have this, we're going to have that. Let's say, okay, instead of spending X amount of money on the braai, let's cut that budget, and whatever is of that budget, 20, 30, 40%, we're going to be giving to Islamic Relief. Or at the braai, we decide as a family, we're going to be giving X amount every single month to Islamic Relief to help them with the people in Gaza. I think we must realize that the situation in Gaza is not going to be a short term, it's a long term situation, and we have to build the capacity to be able to assist and deal with our brothers and sisters in Gaza.
And can they specify that this debit order is for Palestine, for example?
Absolutely. You have to be specific, because if you just put a debit order, the money goes into a fund, and we will dispense of it where we believe possible. But if your intention is to give it to Gaza and Palestine, you put on there Palestine and Gaza, and that money will just go to that.
So the reference will be Palestine, so they will know.
Absolutely.
Okay, you will know from that.
Absolutely. We will take that, and we will check, and we put that to go towards Palestine. Yes.
Amazing.
Inshallah.
MashaAllah. SubhanAllah, you mentioned cutouts, and I'm sure there are things in our list on a monthly basis that we can even say, okay, let's put this aside for now. Let's put it off for now. Cut this debit order and put it away, and let's do something for Palestine. Let's make this instead of that. I was mentioning some people taking part in some battle, watching this, watching
Yes.
that. He said, so rather stop this for now, for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, and spend and make a debit order for Palestine or for the people of Gaza, inshallah. May Allah Azza wa Jal reward you
Ameen.
for these initiatives, and may
Ameen.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from Islamic Relief,
Ameen.
and may Allah grant the people of Palestine victory, and may we see this
Khair.
victory in our life, and we will all make salah inshallah in Masjid al-Aqsa al-Mubarak.
Ameen.
Allahumma
Ameen.
ameen.
Jazakallah
Shukran
khairan.
Abdul Aleem for joining us this morning.
عفوا جميلا.
Allah yataqabbal minna wa minkum ya Rabbil Alameen. Alright, with that we came to the end of our program for today. Jazakumullah khairan for watching. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Wal asri innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Wassalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.